is public teaching, yes. Buddha descending from heaven to this blue planet. So there's this auspicious day. So I was thinking, I will read a little bit Vajrakata Sutra, some translation they call it Dharyan Kata Sutra or something like that. However, this sutra, in early time in Tibet, everybody does commitment. This Vajrakata Sutra is like a commitment. Everybody, it's kind of universal commitment. Your morning commitment. Everybody reads this Vajrakata Sutra as considered as a very powerful and blessing to removing obstacles and accumulating merit. And when you read, sometimes these are the sutras, so it's not necessary to know all the detail when you're reading through the open mind, and it's kind of reciting, considered as beneficial. And me personally, of course, I study emptiness theory a lot, and time to time I reflect and meditate. Sometimes I feel like progression happens once I just reading the Vajrakata Sutra, not when I'm like analyzing. So something that's kind of like a wonderful. Anyway, in your own personal life, if you feel like, oh, there's some kind of obstacle, I need to purify. Now I want to have some kind of merit support. What prayer should I do? What kind of practice should I do? You have a question. I would recommend just read Vajrakata Sutra. Vajrakata Sutra can remove your obstacle in the personal life, brings the karmic conditions to bring you together. I think it's in the West there's like what you call book club. We should create a Sutra club. Sutra club, basically, you read Sutra, that's it. And then after you finish reading the Sutra, then you can have some discussion and some snacks. I think that Sutra reading club, I think, will be beautiful. Just gather somebody's house. If you have 3 of your friends or 5 of your friends, we're going to read Vajrakata Sutra. It's kind of right amount. Some sutra may take a week to finish. So the Heart Sutra is kind of like a dense and a little bit short. I think Vajrakata Sutra will be like right amount for sutra reading club. Okay, and after that, whatever your spiritual questions, some dharma discussion. But at the beginning, everybody reads sutra reading club. That's just a recommendation. Sutra reading. So Vajrakata Sutra, I think is a really wonderful for me personally. I mean, for me, first how this happened is, in Tibetan children, they were first born, the parents will go to check the astrological things, and in my astrological chart, the recommendation was Vajrakata Sutra. I know in the back of my mind I should do a Vajrakata Sutra practice, but it took a very long time to really get into the practice. And once I'm into this practice, it's kind of like surprising. I don't know. Surprise gives you a surprise. Okay. Anyway, I was just going to read it a little bit, and then I'm going to talk about mindfulness and Mahamudra as a kind of prayer and celebrating this auspicious day. I'm just going to read a little bit, and during that time, you just don't think what is reading. I don't understand what is reading. just do a mindfulness meditation. Just just listen to my sound of the sutra reading. That's the meditation. Okay. Masam Jimmy Shero Baruji Magimi Lago Chagua Judo, the Bimoyame Lamaso, Chimney, Chanjus was much more and the Tamachini. Jishi was judging the number of the Sanji to listen to so much more than the music of the Machini. Jumden, the water, the worship of the Chanjus and the cover of the which they never did, the Druid did, and the simple from the village for Jumden, the years of the Marajo, the Gazo, Rajo, the so much more Simjian do usually the Simjian comes to the come on. The doesn't just have it when you do it, and then just you know, the devil doing it. Simjian do usually super usual, I thought it was going to be a so much. Somewhere do you see the 定当说当执政也是说这个说吧，针对你根本不能说，针对你这种决定就是嘛，看你这个说明你这什么我们应该记录。有时候现在这种菜，不是说吧，你现在到生活这个菜不是这个是的，这个菜根据做吧，康复嘛，菜不是什么是的，就是说。我就其实都参观说过，可是你其实参观可是你看到不是我是个参观的什么的，或者是比如说中间领事的这个就业绩到这都 OK。The keyword just as auspicious, auspiciously sutra. And sutra is called, we call it the rupture. Rupture is one of the Buddha's disciples is known for Tiwalakya. Most of the sutra is like a very conversational. And this sutra, lots of the question was asked by Buddha's disciple called Rupture. I think it was the English translation or Sanskrit terminology. Rupture. Rupture, basically, this one particular Buddhist disciple, Rupture, is a kind of currently gifted into the asking question. Tiwalakya Rupture. Buddha had several disciples. Some of the Zudula Kyaba, some of them are really skilled, specialized. One of the disciples is specialized in kind of creating miracles to benefit sentient beings. This Buddha's disciple is a kind of like a kind of specialized, kind of gifted to ask questions to the Buddha. Lots of the sutras, kind of like a development, is lots of conversations. And this Buddha's disciple is Rabjur is like comes in Panyana Paramita Sutras, any kind of sutra. So this is kind of like a very interesting for somehow this individual person somehow able to represent different issues, intellectual issues, personal. The question can becomes outreached, or it kind of representing all the questions. So based on that kind of circumstances, sutras, how is it created, is kind of put together. So, and then I think then there's several Buddhist disciples who are each disciple have a specific kind of talent, specific unique talent.
Rabjur is Subhuti.
Subhuti. Yeah, Subhuti. Subhuti is a skilled Chivalakyan. Subhuti is a Chivalakyan. It's like really kind of gifted into asking questions to the Buddhas. And lots of Panjana Paramita Sutras developed based on he's kind of just represent. He's maybe he's a kind of extrovert, unshy individual, like immediately able to ask to Buddha, and somehow okay. So now Vajrakata Sutra is basically wisdom mindfulness. Within the mindfulness, the fourth mindfulness, truth realization. Fourth mindfulness can really relate it with the teaching of the Vajrakata Sutra or the teaching of the wisdom. Now, mindfulness teaching is let's like, for example, like in today's in the West, different centers. There's a Theravadan tradition, mindfulness, 10-day mindfulness retreat. Like basically won't teach anything. Just basically you sit and bring your attention to your breath. I think you have to not too much anything. Just I think it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. Like you have like kind of maybe we all the questions of our thought to not dissolving by answering, but the question itself dissolves through just bringing your attention to the breath. And I think in the Theravada tradition, this kind of like different center in America, and kind of like it is a difficult, but practitioners who come out from that, they get some kind of impact. So I think that's and then of course when you go to I think in what I limited understood in the different retreat centers, first they will never teach any kind of full mindfulness meditation. They will just teach only breath, attention to the breath. You will take that retreat to 10 days, 2 weeks, or something that's it. And basically, ultimately, I think it looks like basically you are not ignoring all the thoughts that you have, the question that you have, but you are not feeding. You are not feeding, just bringing breath, attention to your breath. And thought there comes, the question becomes, but I think not feeding for that. Just kind of resolve. So somehow able to experience. I think this is a really important for long-term meditator to have that witness. then once you're able to do that, somehow all the thoughts, all the reactions, somehow you don't need to respond. Somehow once, I think the just meditation with breath, somehow you get, I don't need to answer all the emails coming from my thoughts. I don't need to respond. Yes, I don't need to blog or delete, but I don't have to respond. And I'm just going. I think that's really because the thoughts kind of like you know, yeah, they ring the bell door, but you don't need to open it. It's okay. It's fine. No, don't need to respond. And so that's, I think. Now, next step when it's a mindfulness meditation, then not only you have like a little bit of task, basically, not only just kind of like being with your breath, but then taking to the next level is kind of so-called like if I use the word like a mindfulness of a body, scanning the body. You're using this kind of terminology. But basically, I think mindfulness of our body is the kind of when you go to, like, for example, you do first breathing meditation, okay, just the breath, that's the breath. Then after that, you have this kind of mindfulness of the body. That's, in a way, it's a kind of like in a way, it's like, I think it's like you're testing the water. I can test which kind of water? Conceptual reactions. At the beginning, you just kind of like didn't respond. The alarms keep going, but you just don't respond. You're able to stay still and pay attention to your breath. Now, mindfulness of the body, like a lucha. Now, this is like a kind of like a controlled environment. You're just kind of, although on the front, you're bringing your attention to your body, and you're just kind of like moving your thoughts through your body, but it is testing the water of your conception. Because usually that's the first thing that, so if we are successful, that still, the main thing is that if there's a emotional reaction related to your body, any kind of thing, you're able to handle. You're able to similarly training that you went with the breath. You're able to do that. And then basically, the mindfulness meditation is a kind of like a 4 stages that's really somehow your reactions of the thoughts that you are able to face and able to resolve. That's kind of like I say, kind of like a ground you go through your body, your feeling, your mind, and they're called the 4th one for human. I think in the Vipassana meditation, these different centers, I think first course you just have to finish the breath. Once you finish this kind of retreat, then there will be only the 4 mindfulness that are able to kind of go through that. So I think this is a very it's not necessarily stimulating your brain, but it can calm down our heart and our emotion. So I think this method practice is very, very important. But now when you go to like a Tibetan Buddhism centers, then it has so many. I have one Zen friend, student. Later he wants to study me, but at the beginning, first he was in Korea, and then he came to Portland, and he said, "Okay, I'll take only meditation class. I don't want to take a philosophy class. I don't want to do meditation." And and then he says, one day we just have a conversation, he's like, for me, the Tibetan Buddhism looks like a huge supermarket, so many options. You can do this, you can do that, you can do that. And he gets like confused, so he just wants to not to get too much into it. So he's just doing the meditation part. And the slowly meditation we're introducing to look into more deeper. And then he said, like one day, I think I should take a class. I want to do more class. So I think in overall, if we have that kind of like a really calming our mind and having that kind of able to get into the non-reactive. And then through there, then in the Tibetan Buddhism, then it offers another, from there on, then it offers so many different ways to go more further, your wisdom meditation. But what I'm seeing is sometimes in the Tibetan Buddhist centers, we don't emphasize too strong on the breath and the mindfulness. We just straight jump to the meditation of emptiness and six paramitas, and that like intellectually absolutely make a sense and really, but somehow we lose the emphasis into the foundation, the simple foundation. We lose that foundation. And then like sometimes, get like that, what's happening. I really kind of like believed and really understood the wisdom meditation, but it doesn't really improve. It doesn't really get into, not able to sustain. So I think first I think the main important we have to go. Basically, what I'm saying in our personal practice, really make sure we build the simple one. First, you don't have to answer questions of your thoughts. If your thoughts send you lots of email, you don't need to respond. Fine. Okay. Then next one, you are going the area. Your thoughts may kind of demand, what you say in the email, if you really want to have an answer back, if there's any way to say, marking something that I need to answer, or you just say I need to answer? Huh? Start. That means like you want. So in full mindfulness and meditation, you are going to this zone area, but without any kind of reaction. You're training it. Still, you're not responding your email, but you are going into the supposed to have your thoughts reaction. You're supposed to have this kind of reaction, but you are kind of gradually training. So I think like the ones like for example Mahamudra. I think if you do Mahamudra practice, although if you look at Mahamudra, you do have an emphasis in meditation and breathing. We do have an emphasis into this way. But in Tibetan tradition, Mahamudra meditation, they emphasize more to the merit accumulation, karma, merit accumulation, rather than so much how I'm going to manage my reactions or my thoughts. Maybe in early Tibet, this is not the issue. The issue is maybe the karma, merit accumulation. So now for today's, I think we have both issues, the merit and the reactions of our thoughts. So in the practice, particularly in the Mahamudra practice, then although it has those basic things, meditation related with the breath, meditation with the mindfulness of the body, the mind, all that is here, but I think the emphasis really in Mahamudra text in Tibetan tradition is really karmic merit accumulation. So therefore, in a meditation, when you're doing Mahamudra meditation, the highlight, preliminary, how you prepare is wandro accumulation. Going through the refuge mandala, going through the Vajrasattva mandala. Is a really karmic purification emphasis becomes a really, really one of the main message. But now when you look into the today's world, like around the accumulation and people's life are busy. People's life are busy. I cannot dedicate such a time to finishing. If I get out from, I'm not sure I'll get 3-month vacation from my job to go to Vajrasattva retreat, and so on and so forth. So I think this is an overall situation. The 10 days, this kind of meditation, that's really, I think, can really give you some kind of like a general understanding of your habits and mind. I think just through the meditation related with breath and meditation related with whole mindfulness meditation. So fundamentally, I think mindfulness, like for mindfulness meditation, for example, for mindfulness meditation is almost like some type of kind of like like for example, in physical exercise, you have a treadmill and you have another thing, there's different things you do to strengthen different parts of your body. So for mindfulness, basically the training, the basic training is 4 different fields, something related to yourself, that you can go there without reaction, without judgmental, without this and that. So the training is basically you can go through this area, these subjects, but somehow still mind can non-judgmental. You don't have to be compassionate, but it can go through very mutual state of awareness. Something that's kind of some level of pay attention is there, some level of concentration is there, but somehow able to keep away from our habit. So that is the exercise. Can we go through area without our habit influence? So this is the kind of like the training or the exercising of awareness. When I go one place, can I see these things without my habit influence, judgmental, or this and that, no stories? I was kind of funny. One time I saw one shoes and I really wanted to buy. That day I just brought my pocket. And then next time I went there, but I could not find, because the shops looks like they don't keep things in the same place. They change it. I don't understand. Then later they said just to make a feeling of a new, so they don't put in the same place. And then one day I found that shoes that I'm looking, and then the minute I found it, I think my mind said, do I really need this? I think at the end story was I saved. I didn't get caught into my marketing mind. It's telling me to buy. But anyway, this kind of like basically somehow fundamentally we are here, we are influenced, we have so much habit, we have so much way to thinking. Mindfulness and meditation is basically, can you be alive without our own social and individual habit influence, and just see as what it is. This is the treadmill. It's basically in this treadmill. You cannot drink coffee. You cannot go online. You cannot answer your email. You're just running on the treadmill. And similarly over here, all the thoughts, just kind of not rejecting, but somehow to just pay attention. And that's the training. That's the training. Okay. Now the question comes, okay, so if I do this, so what? What happens? And I think this can lead to more further to Mahamudra, I think. Basically, right now looks like we are kind of just to keep on the surface. The function of our consciousness is just kind of like very superficial in the surface. So once we kind of without kind of like a push and pull, if we can kind of keep our attention without influence of our habits and just able to kind of experience just simple nature. Then Mahamudra comes not so much about the object itself, it's basically the purity and journey of the subject mind itself, which makes the person much more compassionate, much more wiser. And I think that's when the mind, when the human being is calm and peace, the minute have any condition, natural compassion arises. When our consciousness is free from habit, and then I think there's this kind of like a positive potential within our own, so kind of natural, compassion, like a compassion, and the concentration also. Concentration should be, imposed concentration. Sometimes I will use this kind of impose. You are imposing for yourself. If you concentrate, you concentrate. When you push for concentration can, I think most times is a backfire. It will create more distraction. So fundamentally, I think the journey and the much more Mahamudra approach is like keep our state of awareness and the natural states as a positive and clear and aware states. And then when the condition arises, things can evolve naturally. Concentration can evolve naturally. Loving kindness evolve naturally. So basically what I'm saying is some of your long-time practitioner, like a particular Tibetan Buddhism practitioner, I will say two things. Sometimes when you feel like no progression, these things, I think basically two things. One thing is as in a Theravada tradition, this kind of like a simple foundation. Just bringing our, through the breath and through the mindfulness meditation, basically somehow no interactive or no interference by our habits. That's one thing. And the one thing is really merit accumulation, this kind of practice of the moment. Basically, doing mandala art and Vajrasattva purification practice. Something that if you continuously invest it. So I think these two combination will be really, really, really effective. Okay. And also when we're doing, if we get really, sometimes like for example, when we like a body scan, it's like mindfulness of a body, you're kind of going your awareness, kind of following your body, kind of. But the main thing over here, the main practice is, sometimes we say we're not able to keep that. So I think although you're taking that kind of a journey, but the real purpose is non-reactiveness. Once you're able to kind of non-reactiveness able to kind of happen, then pay attention. It will be more natural. Wherever you put your attention, the attention can stay. The most of the practice, shime practice or mindfulness practice, everything is a way we should put our muscle up to, is to not to responding for the reactive. But basically, that's I think the way we have to. Then, as a kind of a reference, then you have a breath, you have your body, you have a feeling, you're keeping on it. So more we get that, then I think there's a kind of a healing from our habit, or purification of our habit. I think that's so basically what I'm saying is in the meditation is less, spending time is just simple, just to breath. Maybe like if you have a weekend, just like for one day, just breath can be boring, but boring means relative. So anyway, it's just simple. The sometimes I tell my friend, when you go retreat, he said, I want to go retreat, I want to prepare. I said, no, you are the minute you have an intention to go retreat, that already you don't need to read anything. You are perfectly good. You have enough resource for retreat. I was like, what? I should have not take this good read. No. Now when you go retreat, what is the etymology of retreat? Retreat. Refresh? To move away from. To move away. To move away. Yeah, retreat. Move away from the habits of the thoughts. Move away from. That's it. The material what we need for the sadhana of our retreat is just sadhana. We kind of move away from habits of distraction, move away from habits of judgment, move away from, basically simple state of awareness. If you just give another things to do for our mind, just give another things, we'll just get distraction, so anyway, so that's one area to mindfulness. I think it's a really kind of like a mindfulness meditation you do. So basically, if you plan breathing meditation, then through that, you just basically, you don't need to kind of able to ignore our reaction to the thoughts. Then mindfulness meditation, then you go the fields where you might get more reaction, but you're able to discipline. Some level of you're able to kind of discipline, able to pass through. Once you kind of able to do these two things, then the Ayurvedic meditation. You are fully now you are fully prepared to able to now when you're doing Shinya concentration, you're bringing your attention, and it's not so much about like a single point, it's not so much about it. It's basically based on that object, your mind to become more clear, non-reactive, more simple, kind of like a fresh air, religion. Fresh air is just you go out and you just breathe. There's no complication like that. So like a Shinya training, so basically through that kind of like a simple pay attention for that object, somehow refreshing. That's I think what is saying the clear state of awareness. I think in there people kind of deep relaxing, cognitive, deep relaxing. I think that's the once we get into that level, the individual can experience some kind of it doesn't becomes like it becomes like a state of joy, right? This is somehow right now we are not able to. Right now, the happiness and joy isn't so much at our level, is a much more sensory level. We are able to some level of mental, but it's so much corrupted. But here, Shinya meditation, we can get like the true 100% mental joy. That's coming from now. Joy is not so much about excitement; it's much more about freshness and lightness. It's so much about it. So basically, you have a cognitive and emotional energizing more fully in the Shinya meditation. Much more energized person has a much more aligned, much more present. So that kind of, I think, with the Shinya meditation. So mind get much more kind of like that. I mean, like you are not ignoring the individual karma and collective karmically what's happening, but they doesn't not necessarily takes all your attention. Really aware, but you're able to be in that kind of like a very well grounded, okay, Shiva meditation. And then once we have that kind of like a clear and present state of awareness, and then I think and compassion things are much more can be much more natural. But even though you can take that state of awareness to meditation in emptiness. Okay. Meditate. Okay, now meditation of emptiness or meditation into the nature of a mind, or Mahamudra, when we say Mahamudra, meditation in the nature of a mind, nature of a mind, then again, now just to make it, meditation in the nature of a mind and meditation in the breath, both have we use the same word meditation, but the actual experience is totally different. Let's make it this way. What that means is one thing is meditation into the nature of a mind is basically non-dual experience. In a meditation in your breath is a dual, your mind and your breath. Okay. So non-dual, basically what that means is basically let me put one analogy, maybe like a sun. Sun is shining to blue planet in all the universe, but sun is not necessarily addressed to shine to specific planets. It is not addressed to shining to specific. We just so there's no duality. This sun is trying to shine to this and that, not necessarily just kind of in his own kind of way of looking. But meditation in nature of a mind is you are not necessarily the mind is not necessarily looking to the something as a mind, but mind itself is a transforming into the which is a nature of a mind itself. It's just kind of like a transformation, embodying the actual nature, going back to the root rather than the mind and trying to observing some kind of mind. Meditation in the nature of the mind is not about duality. So meditation of the nature of the mind is basically mind itself is a transforming into almost like going back to the root. Sometimes we say like, okay, there's too many things happening. Let's go back to the where we started. Because meditation in the nature of the mind is just like going back, just leaving behind all the habits and everything behind, and coming back to those one primordial stage of existence. So I think it is just kind of like a pull back from our habits and bringing our state of awareness, natural state. This is kind of like a meditation into the nature of mind. Although the language we use is a kind of like a almost dualistic language, but it's so I would say breathing meditation, mindfulness meditation, the meditation in the nature of the mind. You can kind of develop through like this simple breath, then mindfulness, and then nature of the mind. And it's just like a randomly put it, or is it really there's some correlation? Yes, the first two, breathing meditation and mindfulness meditation, Basically, you are able to kind of not purify all the judgmental minds and everything, but you're able to not to engage. You're able to free from karmic habits. And once you have some level of a freedom from karmic habit, then meditation in the nature of the mind is a perfect meditation in the nature of the mind. In a traditional meditation in the nature of the mind, the kind of like a prerequisite in the Mahamudra meditation was like a meditation on loving kindness and a meditation into the devotion. Okay. These two, I mean, like our practitioners experience. Practitioners go through experience of loving kindness and experience of devotion. Again, these two experiences really can lead to see the nature of the mind. I mean, like it can lead to see the nature of mind. It's not talking from the point of view of karma. It's mostly speaking, it creates the right cognitive condition or emotional condition to be able to experience the nature of it. Okay. Now, when we say compassion meditation is fully kind of empathetic kind of experience, but there is a sense of impossibleness, kind of like out of your kind of like potential, but fully sympathetic to you. You're not giving up, but you are fully. But there is you can see yourself powerless, but not necessarily giving up. But you are fully present, feeling the suffering of empathy. So that kind of experience of a compassion can lead perfect to so-called refuge to Buddha-Sangha, taking refuge. That kind of like again, it's not so much about the issue of trust. It is a state of mind somehow not controlling anything. It's just kind of surrendering. Not so much issue of trust. So trust is sometimes becomes a little bit, we sometimes devotion faiths kind of take into the trust. Trust is some kind of controlling. But the devotion is totally surrounding and non-controlling. And somehow still present awareness. And that awareness is also perfect to meditation, creating perfect circumstances to meditation in nature. Okay. So meditation or experience of the nature of the mind, somehow you're fully engaged, you're fully present, but non-controlling state of awareness. Even the practice of refuge is the kind of like non-giving up, non-controlling, and there's a sense of state of awareness. It brings somehow, that is the kind of right environment to kind of be still and experience that unique, that specific, non-controlling, non-giving up, fully surrendering, fully present state of awareness. And that's where somehow, usually what happens is we're trying to fix how we can fix what's the answer. This is the answer. It is not going that direction. It is also not going to the directions of, okay, Buddha, the enlightened being is going to taking care, I can relax. It's not going to state of relaxing. It's fundamentally being in the state of a fully present, non-control, non-giving up, but a kind of surrounding state of awareness. And that is the perfect transition for experience of nature. So, 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 although like a breathing meditation and mindfulness meditation have a little bit kind of getting away from that kind of very kind of like a built-up state of awareness, kind of away. But when you come to the meditation of nature of mind, you're bringing that kind of like a spaciousness through build-up, gradually build up a state of awareness and emotions. And now through that, so if we organized, I was kind of like thinking, after many retreats of just breathing or just mindfulness, and then gradually leading to the loving kindness and going to refuge for the devotion practice. Then, once that was a kind of like more natural than the kind of like, once that becomes more natural and able to produce this kind of experience, non-giving up, non-controlling, surrendering state of a kind of fully engaged. Compassion meditation can be busy. Refuge meditation can be busy. It's a kind of built up, concentrated energy, but you are not trying to answer all the questions. You're not trying to answer. But even answering it's going through kind of like a different state. It's a totally non-controlling state of awareness. There will be billions of questions, but still non-controlled state. I would say non-controlled because usually the problem is we have all the time kind of controlled. Everything wants to control. It wants to control. It just wants to control. So non-controlled state of awareness. Non-controlled state of awareness. That will be kind of. It is almost like a kind of like explosion, and through that explosion, then there's a new universe. Like a loving kindness meditation and a devotion experience. It's all built up. And then through that, when you don't have that kind of like a controlled state, you just kind of totally surrendering, that kind of explosion, kind of like a volcanic erupted. That's it. And then through that, and then kind of like a new life, kind of experience of the nature of the mind. And then similarly, like a Shina meditation, also this can have a more natural kind of fresh experience of a state of existence in our own self. I would say like a meditation in the nature of the mind is basically we become so fresh, so present, so fresh. The energy level is much more fresh, more present. Okay. Meditation into then the word Mahamudra. The word Mahamudra is the word Mahamudra, the great seal Mahamudra. Now here what happens is Mahamudra is a awakening of the ultimate mind, activation of the ultimate mind. What that means, is that we as a person, right now only like I would say 10% of our cognitive mind is just kind of like working. 90% is unactivated. Mahamudra meditation is how to activate the rest of the 90% of the mind, active, awake. Okay. And I was in Madison, Wisconsin just recently, and there's Richard Davis, a scientist, who's always very close mind and life. And I was having some discussion with the researchers. They're doing research into, they have really good. I think there's in the institution, I think called Healthy Mind and Healthy Body, something like that. And they have like 50 scientists doing research on the meditation. And Richard Davis says basically how we can create positive emotion, not how we can improve, like a little bit like from my point of view, like a teaching of Buddha nature. Teaching of Buddha nature, basically, we can, right now we looks like messed up, but we have the potential to do the good things. And his research is like a much more positive psychology, positive compassion. It's like a muscle. If you can train, your compassion can go stronger. It's like a concentration. It's like a muscle. You can train. You can make it more stronger. And he's trying to do it through the research paper. So anyway, there's like a 50 of them doing that kind of research. So there's one specific research they're doing called Tutam. In Tibetan, the Tutam means like a meditation, ultimate meditation. And usually, Tutam means this is basically they are doing research for some teacher when they pass away. And Tibetan, we have the Tutam clear light meditation. We call it clear light meditation. And there sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So they have to do research what's happening. And so basically, I think main thing is clear light. Is kind of like a subtle conscious. So the Mahamudra really is the Mahamudra meditation is trying to awakening the subtle. The subtle. Okay. So dream state of mind, sleep state of mind, that process, basically in Tibetan Buddhism, there's the philosophy behind these, like a dream, basically dream yoga. Ultimately, I think scientifically also they say it have a naturally good concentration. Naturally good concentration in a dream. Dream have some. If we able to work with the dream consciousness, we have a kind of naturally gifted concentration. Concentration is a really good. This is kind of really naturally less. So lots of people in Tibet. I think I met one monk, and people used to ask him some question to do divination, but he does his divination all the time in a dream. So you have to wait. This is like it's urgent, very difficult. Like okay, you ask a question today, so he have to sleep, and the answer is not necessarily kind of. I don't know. Anyway, in Tibet there's one called Shaluguna. Shaluguna. I heard this about this peaceful monastery is intensive training. People go through intensive training to really to activate it. Subtle body and subtle mind. So what happened is, so he's from this monastery, trained in this monastery. So we have this kind of some level of training. So anyway, I'm going back to the point. The Mahamudra meditation is ultimately is to be able to activating on certainly. And once we have activating, that means the theory behind is the mind. We have a basically mind that is extremely dependent into our body, our brain, our neurons, all the brain chemicals. extremely dependent. And there is a mind that not that much have to depend. Not that much have to depend with our body and the brain. Something that have still is kind of some level of independence. And that independence have a extremely powerful potential. This like sometimes within this short lifetime, I have to become enlightened. This statement is not just kind of wishful thinking. Philosophy behind is if this kind of like a subtle movement have such a power and freedom, it makes a sense. It can, as an individual person, can get enlightened within the short life. Now, fundamentally, I think there's a kind of like a awakening clear-like mind, the second mind. One theory is you have to go through chakras and channels practice. And one tradition says, no, you don't have to go through chakras and channels. So there's like a truth. For me, I think if you are young and your elements are fresh, maybe chakra and channel training may enhance to awakening and activating clear light mind. But then, in a generally, I think awakening the clear light mind, through just basically meditation into the nature of the mind, or just mitopakyambas. Literal translation is kind of like non-conceptualizing. That's the kind of like literal translation. But mitopakyamba can be more than that, more subtle than that. So basically, what the practitioner is doing is mind to like a breathing meditation, and no need to respond, no need to without kind of like just bringing state of the mind into freeing from all the habits and conceptual reactions, to be able to kind of like so basically one thing is that I can say like just cleaning up the garage. There's one analogy. Shini meditation is, this kind of meditation, nature, mind, it's not so much you are guarding from your conceptual and your habits. You're not so much creating gated community, gated meditators. From the gate, what you are stopping are the conceptual reactions. Sometimes it sounds like that, but actually in some classical texts, it's like you have like for example, there's one analogy called like if the theft or once a robber comes, there's nothing to steal from the house. It's just the meditation in the nature of the mind should be something like this. There's nothing to distract. There's nothing to protect. Like a thief comes, there's nothing to steal. Like Milarepa, when he was in the cave, some thief came and Milarepa said, you're wasting your time. I cannot find anything daytime. You cannot find anything at nighttime. It's all like because the thief thought he's a great teacher, everybody praising him. So maybe people offering too much. He might be kind of materially well. And he got wrong idea. And he came nighttime in his cave. I'm sorry to tell you, but I cannot find anything in daytime. You won't find anything in night. So something that's meditation should be Shini meditation or something. It's nothing to protect. It's something you have nothing to lose. So you're totally kind of somehow it's looking to totally bankrupt the conceptual reactions. So what you call that chapter 11?
Oh yeah. Bankruptcy.
In chapter 11, related with your thoughts, reactions, then Shima. It's nothing, it's not so much thing to something to hold. It's just nothing to distract. There's nothing to distract. So that's one thing that otherwise sometimes Shima meditation feel like we are concentrating on something, we're trying to push away all the distractions. At the end, there's nothing to do, kind of free from it. There's nothing to worry about distraction. Okay. So going back to the Mahamudra, now like in my personal opinion, meditation of emptiness is the meditation of the emptiness in the emptiness of the self. Meditation of the emptiness and emptiness of the self is Nagarjuna is recommending very much strong in his root wisdom. And I think this meditation of the emptiness of the self is an ultimate way of dealing with the habits and the traumas and things that we have related with the self and I. It can be so. What it's saying over here in a simplified way, the meditation of the emptiness of the self is that basically this is saying let go. There's nothing to hang on. What you are hanging on is not reality. There's nothing to hang on. It's, of course, the message is easy to say, but I think this is the meditation of the emptiness, of this emptiness. We should go through. I think sometimes when we have a medicine, it takes time to really to respond with your body. Some medicine takes time to, and before it's really working, we have lots of reaction. The same thing in the meditation of the emptiness of self. At the beginning, I think we should have a naturally lots of reaction. It doesn't make sense. Everything's so true, everything's so truly existence. So it's just kind of going through time, not giving up again and again. So meditation of emptiness of self is a really kind of any kind of trauma habits can heal through the meditation of emptiness of the self. If we're able to be consistent and able to go through, I think can be really helpful. Now, through that, it gives really into our mind, that kind of non-reactive kind of spaciousness, openness, present awareness, all those kind of can be, once we're able to kind of get through the meditation of the emptiness of the self. Meditation of the emptiness of the self can make the perfect condition into the meditation of the emptiness of the mind. Okay. Now, meditation of the emptiness of the mind is basically the practitioner just able to abide in a clear and experienced state of awareness without any kind of reference. Sometimes people, either you have the phone, either you have the book, either you have to talk. You can live it without book, without phone, without mala, without can be just kind of be present. Also, not only without all this, to be more present without all this. Now, these are the external things. Now, without the thoughts, without the different thoughts, can I be present? You can have different tools in your thoughts. So meditation into the ultimate nature of the mind, we're just trying to be present without the different thoughts. Now over here in the meditation so basically again, so what? So again, that comes down to so if I do that, so fundamentally be able to access the subtle mind, access the subtle. I think this looks like a fundamentally why we do, why Mahamudra, why meditation in emptiness, all these things. This is something that can open up more further for our own consciousness experience. I think that will be, we have to, sometimes I feel like once we able to, we need to like kind of like several people able to do that, able to experience subtle state of awareness. And I think that will be like a very amazing, So like, for example, lots of Buddhist practice, like a sadhana practice. Sadhana practice is something I practice because in the sadhana practice, there's a lot of dissolution process. And dissolution process, really, the whole point is to activating, able to access the clear state of subtle mind experience. So, okay, let me go back. If we organize, I think, breathing meditation, mindfulness meditation, I think full mindfulness meditation can become fundamental foundation for so-called, today we have this self-compassion. Self-compassion is, this terminology doesn't exist. I only hear when I came to West. So, and I think the situation, I think it's true, early time we don't have concept of self-compassion. And Shastras and Sutras, I'm not sure there's a word self-compassion. But again, if why we have to discuss self-compassion? Because the world where we are comparative and self-judgmental becomes daily practice, and that's not happening, and that's a real issue. So, the self-judgmental way to overcome, I think, jump to self-compassion, I think it's too fast. How we prepare for self-compassion? Mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the feeling, mindfulness of the mind. Basically, these first three, what you are really trying to avoid is a judgment. Related to your body, then you go with your feeling. The mind is the non-judgmental related with your thought. That's the kind of, once you're able to handle that, that's the kind of perfect situation. So once an individual person 3 times a day or several times to go through your body, feeling, and your thoughts, that kind of a non-judgmental training, then you become naturally. I think that we don't need to use the word self-compassion. It's there's no experience of anger related to yourself. There's no, sometimes I get annoyed and frustrated. Yes, that's part of the life, but there's no such this kind of like a constant, deep down, you are not good enough. It's because you really worked hard to yes, you are still in the world. There's a competitive can come from outside, but you are not going to judge yourself. That's the kind of relate with your body, relate with your feeling, relate with your ideas, in your mind, in your thoughts. So I think that creates perfect, kind of healthy way to become competitive, a very healthy way to make a better kind of, competitiveness happens. And then, and I think is a self-judgmental never gives any acceptance for yourself. Kind of accepting where you are. It's not accepting you the impossible bar is a kind of like a humanity. But the mindfulness meditation, also karma, we individually are different, karmically we are different, and we have a different. So I think it can help to naturally to basically intelligent, loving kindness person. So mindfulness for mindfulness meditation is I think very, very crucial for particularly in younger generation, but generally for all of us to have a full mindfulness meditation because it's a simple, basically it's just demanding for certain time with the intention, going through this kind of field where can naturally judgmental can arise, but intentionally disciplining, and then making examples. I can do it. I can do it without judging myself. I can breathe, I can be alive without not judging myself. And so that's, I think, so I think that Buddhism, particularly Tibetan Buddhism, is the main project. If you ask, like, can you just summary, what's the Tibetan Buddhism trying to do? It is basically to awake the entire mind, to be awake, not 10%, to be awake 100%. So that's basically, we are awake, but just a 10%. And 10% mind, which is so much dependent to this physical body. So basically, Tibetan Buddhism is, in general Buddhism, obviously, Buddha thought the mind is really the key. Buddhism is a project of the mind. project of a crazy. Okay. So mind, learning of a mind, learning of yourself. Maybe Buddhism is a school of a learning of our own self. And that means our mind. So, okay, anyway, what I'm, hopefully if we can, already is there, quite good organized, okay, in Tibetan Buddhism is one of the project of the mind to succeed or not succeed. So it depends into the merit and karma, merit. This is one of the really, I will say that you have to have a merit accumulation, merit karmic foundation. So okay, what is that? Have you any questions? Yes, go ahead.
MJ, going back to when you were saying that early that Shina meditation requires discipline. And also when we move on to meditation century, would the discipline of like Lojong and Tonglen be what helps us get to that point where we can move from Shina into central meditation? Or is it, or are those just very, very simple tools that we can use in order to get to know our own mind?
You mean the Lojong?
Lojong and Tonglen. For the self-compassion, there's that is something that's more of a phenomena in the West.
Now, that's a good question. Like, for example, we have a Lamrim and a Lojong. We use two words, like Lamrim and a Lojong. Why there's a two different structure? I think Lamrim is a principle, is just kind of showing the path to one. That's the real principle. And the Lojong is the principal obstacle, which is the principal obstacle with obscure to take to lead to enlightenment. So Lojong is a kind of like a specific kind of like a meditation training to addressing the ultimate obstacle, which basically egotistical self-grasping. And it's kind of like a Lojong is a specific training designed to, and like a Tonglen. Tonglen is like a, you really need to kind of like reverse engineering the egotistical self-grasp. And then we have been doing this kind of like, so it is a, and then like now of course Lojong can be Lojong also somehow completes Lamrim teaching in within with that, but now I think the problem is no, let me put it this way. Now, in today's world, when we have like a lot of like a self-judgmental, self kind of like a putting down or self-hatred or low self-esteem, many of these issues, and Lojong language, if we don't carefully communicate, can be reinforced possibilities, like a Lojong versus mind training. There's a difference between Lojong and possibilities there. It needs to be communicated very skillfully, so the individual can able to distinguishing that the grasping on the self that we individually holding is not that conventional self. It is a kind of like an inherent self that basically mind-made it emotionally. So these kind of distinguishing in the Lojong training. Also within the Lojong training, there's lots of like wisdom meditation also embedded. So there's these are really this kind of like in a deeper level, nihilism related to the self. But maybe on the surface level, maybe like, oh, maybe I'm not good. This is something that I'm not supposed. Possibilities there, possibilities there. So Lojong. So Lojong need to be, I think, individual who's going through that kind of like low self-esteem or something that Lojong need to be, if we kind of skillfully able to guide, then it can really open up and able to really, that pain itself can help to deeper understanding and deeper compassion. Practice and so on. Now, from there to Senti, Senti is basically, like a Senti is like a teaching in the mind. Nature of the mind. So. mean, like maybe we can discuss what is the meditation, the nature of the mind, and within the four mindfulness of the mind. The third one, both using the word mind. One is called mindfulness of the mind. One is the meditation of the nature. Is mindfulness of the mind is a meditation of mind? Or what's happening? We use both words. Like mindfulness of the mind is not meditation of the mind, but the Mahamudra simply is a meditation of the nature of the mind. Okay, how we distinguish it? Basically, the distinction between way I understood, there can be some level of but less in a straightforward mindfulness of the mind. What you think? Mindfulness of the mind, basically saying mindfulness of the mind is not, just kind of like you're observing the mind and basically practices being non-judgmental. You're observing your feeling, you're being non-judgmental. Basically, we're saying non-judgmental. Basically, you are not influenced by your habit. You're able to somehow to sit back your habit. Still, you're observing your feeling. And you're observing your thoughts. It's a rapid fire, but somehow your habits not have to go through and make a furthermore explosion. And that's it. Mindfulness in mind. Mindfulness is much more kind of like a disciplined practice to thought and the habits to not to interfere. So mindfulness of mind is basically you're sending in this kind of like a different field, different track. The track first is your body, track second is your feeling, track third is your mind. And basically, you have to walk through that track. You walk through maybe like a circumambulation, like a stupa. You're circumambulating your body without judgmental. You're circumambulating your feeling without judgmental. You're circumambulating your thoughts without interference, without distraction, without get caught. And that's not necessarily, that can, through this kind of practice, can create, through that, I can create experience of the nature of the mind. Once you have a kind of consistency and able to sustain, and through that, somehow naturally reactions kind of dissolve and clear and aware state of experience, kind of like a transforming into that. And that is the experience of the nature of the mind. That's the meditation of the nature of the mind. And that itself can go more further, for you experience lack of intrinsic nature of the mind. Same kind of experience. You're not trying to add it in. You're kind of like a more kind of purifying. Still, at the beginning, you're still experiencing clear in a way, but kind of intrinsic kind of. And then later on, also intrinsicness kind of dissolves. Intrinsic within the experience of a clear and knowing. And that also, when you're dissolving, then you call like ultimate nature of the mind experience. And within that, when you dissolve the intrinsic experience of the nature of the mind, I think that's the really what I think the kind of like accessing tools to the clear, subtle state of awareness through the ultimate nature. So the subtle state of the mind have a no conventional structure will apply. So basically, there's a conventional structure, and there's so many potential and not restricted by conventional structure. Like I was so interested in one of the yogi in Tibet. I think it looks like an early time, lots of advanced practitioners in Tibet, they comes to Nepal, Kathmandu Valley. And Kathmandu Valley is really, Kathmandu Valley is so, I mean, like, I think Kathmandu Valley is like a subtle mind Silicon Valley. All the subtle mind professionals are in Kathmandu Valley. I think early once upon a time. This looks like lots of great yogis and highly advanced, no limitation of the conventional structures. They all kind of gathers in Kathmandu Valley. It's like what I say, subtle.
Silicon Valley, subtle mind.
Silicon Valley of the subtle mind. Now, like I think there's like a in the Kathmandu Valley, there's some place there's lots of advanced practitioners in the Tara community. Some corners of the Kathmandu Valley advance into the Yamantaka. You know, these days all the tourists goes to Tamil. You know, Kathmandu is everybody. The tourists will take the Tamil, but behind the Tamil, there is a early time they call this is the way the Yamantaka practitioners. Those the subtle, the specialists for the subtle mind related to the Yamantaka practice. Just in Nepali, the place name is a 16 name. Soroko, they also like Soroko, basically Yamantaka 16 name. And that it's like now it's like unfortunate, you know, so much. But this is the area where all the great yogis, and from there is a Swambhu. The Swambhu is the one of the way, the hanging place. So this is so there's this whole kind of practitioners, subtle. They are somehow, I don't know, karmically or all the cause and condition coming together. You have a really practitioners have a really great. And yeah, it's unfortunate now. It's cutting the best, like so, and the White Tara, that place, not too far. And then these holy sites. Now, of course. But of course, like practitioners, when some of the practitioners, they can see, totally experience the land and the space can be totally different. But anyway, so basically meditation of emptiness is to kind of able to get to the clear state of the subtle mind. And that subtle mind have no limitation of the conventional structure. Individual have. So because of that kind of freedom in power, the idea of enlightenment within this short lifetime, I think theoretically, I think it makes sense. There is this one of the great Lots of Lojita, this great Mahasiddha is also like a translator, and he is a great accounting practitioner. And there is one type of us within the 6 yoga or Naropa practice. He thought this practice continues in the future. It will be more harming than beneficial for the Buddha Dharma. So he really wants to cut the lineage. He really don't want to spread the lineage. So that's like this, you know, at that time that people have the merit and somehow it can be able to sustain to benefit from the Buddha Dharma. Later on, it will not benefit because it can be. So he wants to really cut the lineage. So he only who have the lineage left over is one of his teacher's son have the lineage. So now he's like, okay. So he's like a really, he's like this. So he was like his own guru's son have that lineage, so he wants to how to do that. And he was put in a very dilemma situation.
Rinpoche.
Yeah.
In I think it's Geshe Sopa's book on Lam Rim, 5-volume, talking about Madhyamaka section, and they make the point many times. The view is not just non-conceptual mind. Don't get stuck there. It's more subtle than that. And then I'm trying to think of how to compare that with, Mahamudra teaching. Maybe non-conceptual mind is a little like conventional nature of mind. You have to maybe hang out there a little bit, but don't get stuck. And from there, do more investigation while you're also doing shamatha, calming the mind, and then maybe gradually, if you have the merit, you can see the most subtle nature of mind.
Yeah, I think you're right. In a Tibet, particularly Lama Tsongkhapa, I think it looks like a period of early Tibetan teachers before Tsongkhapa is lots of emphasis into the ultimate nature, the ultimate, basically, philosophically speaking, ultimate truth is that basically not necessarily where Tsongkhapa's really kind of see ultimate truth and conventional truth is a two sides of one coin. It's not necessarily is one stands ahead. It's kind of like an equinox. And there's no duality between two truths. So I think one how the Tsongkhapa in the early interpretation they sees like ultimate truth as that's the kind of like the truth. It's something conventionally true. Conventional truth don't have any kind of value. And in the meditation of the emptiness, Tsongkhapa is basically saying that we have to have some kind of like emptiness and independent, kind of like complementing each other rather than contradicting each other. So basically, true truth complementing each other rather than contradicting each other. That kind of review need to be Tsongkhapa basically saying you have to have that kind of review that really complements true truth rather than contradicting true truths. So now I think in an early master, sometimes they giving some specific teaching for specific audience or based on specific experience, and some these kinds of not necessarily kind of relating with the wider context and taking that's the kind of like and these are this kind of little bit ups and downs there, but I think ultimately in a advanced realization, any advanced realization, complementing in emptiness dependent recognition, convention and ultimate, complementing rather than contradicting. So that's I think one of the main kind of Tsongkhapas, and because of the Tsongkhapa kind of complementing kind of approach to truth, so we have like emphasis on conventional truth, some kind of validating conventional truth. And this is again yeah, okay, anyways. Mahamudra. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.